Hey, what's up, fellow van builders? This is Scott from Vandingo. Welcome back. And today I'm just getting started on a little bit of subfloor work. I've got those aluminum 1x that I need to put down, but I've got to cut them to fit. So this chop saw, handy little rigid chop saw, doesn't have the appropriate blade. That's I don't know, that's a rip blade for wood projects. And what we need to put on it is a blade that allows for non-ferrous cutting. And you can see right up here, I'm going to be doing some 1x cuts, and it's right in the photo. I don't know if you can see that. Right in the photo. And I've got 80/20 to cut as well with this project, with the van. So I thought I would just walk through this. This is not the simplest thing in the world, so I thought I'd show y'all. Let me just move the camera over here. On this saw, there's a button you push right here. That button, when you hang on to it, locks the blade. Locks the blade, and then allows you to put your Allen key in here and undo that blade and pull that out in order to make the change. Okay, so we push that button in the back to lock the blade. And then we take the Allen wrench. And now she comes. Blade's still perfectly good. We're going to hang on to that. And we're going to put on the old Diablo. There we go. Screw in here. Get that nice and tight. The button pushed on the other side so we can tighten it up. There we go. Good. Now for me, I used a screwdriver here to pull this screw out, back it out in order to hold this guard out of the way so I could do this. I'm going to tighten that back up. And we're done. Ready to cut some aluminum. These are aluminum 1x1 by 1/8, and they will form the basis of the substructure that goes underneath the plywood that will be the subfloor. And on top of the subfloor, we'll put obviously the finished flooring. But anyway, this is what we're working on today. You can see here they're overlapped. These aren't quite long enough, so I'm going to have to make some cuts and get these placed. Between those aluminum 1x1x8 supports, once they're cut to fit, we're going to use this insulation, this is Sika branded Pro Select high performance foam board. It says that's the foam board there. I chose this because good R value. This is 1 inch. Also, this is supposed to be the best in terms of fire protection, climate protection, air barrier, thermal comfort, and this was an important one, which was moisture control. I think of all the insulation options, this one had the least amount of moisture challenges. So that's why I picked this one. And you simply measure out what you need, and I can show you this. You use a skill knife to measure it and cut it. You score it first, cut it, bend it, and well, I'll show you that. Okay, got a Sharpie. Got it measured out where I want it. And we're gonna put that cut right there. Theoretically, since I got 3 of them that are all the same distance, I should be able to apply the same cut to these 3. All right, let's see how this works. That's close. Now for the important stuff before we get going. Get on your glasses. Wow, smooth as hot butter. That was great. That's the shorter one. Look at that. Clean cut. Yeah. So one thing I noticed is the cut I made initially was for this side right here, and it's a little loose. But maybe because of the taper in the van towards the back here, this piece right here is all the way against the van wall. And when I put the one I cut here, man, it's right on it. So I'm actually going to leave that one there, and I'm going to remeasure to cut this one again. So the adhesive that's going to go on here is Sikaflex Marine adhesive, and it's going to go on each one of these high spots after you grind down a little bit of the paint, and you hit all the high spots before you glue it down. And that's going on. When it's time, I'm going to follow Humble Road, George, and his approach, because this is his design, frankly. That's how I'm going to do it. So when I lay everything down and get the insulation down and cut the plywood board that goes on top of this, I'm going to keep it loose and not completely glued down. I'm not glued down any of it until I'm really comfortable with everywhere the struts are going to go. The shower base is going to go right over there. So I want to make sure I've got everything measured out and correct before I glue anything down. So got a line here on the next one. Now that I think about it, that's my cut piece, and it's plenty long to handle that. So I'm going to measure that and cut this little piece off. That's the way to do it. It's not waste not, want not, right? our cut piece. Oh, it's in. Nice. And that's a good fit. Do we have a fit? There's my line. Let's see. I think I cut it here, or measured it here. This one's got this one doesn't quite make it because over here there's some of this thick body sealant or urethane or whatever Mercedes uses right there for the panels. So that one's gonna have to be a hair shorter for it to settle down because it's up too high. And we don't want that. See if we nailed it this time. It's on that. There. Yep, that's it. So I took just a tiny sliver off the end there. And that brought it down just enough. It's touching on this high side, which is good. All right, next steps is we're gonna take a Sharpie and we're gonna mark right here around each one of where these supports goes across so that when anything moves, I know where these are supposed to fit. And that allows a couple of things. One, it'll tell me later where I'm at, where my supports are, and also when I start cutting the insulation, I won't have these constantly moving measurements because they'll be based on what I have marked here on these walls. Okay, I need 70 1/4, which is the width of the back of the van, and 14 1/2. Somebody told me a trick too. When you go 14 1/2, you just push this straight down into the material and it makes your mark. Perfect. 14 1/2. 14 1/2 makes the mark. 14 1/2. Okay, with the blade, we're just going to score this line. Once you made your line, which we have here, then take your blade and push it out as far as it'll go where it locks and score it deeper. You want to stay in the same line. jacked it up down here. But that's okay, because this is the area I'm going to cut off. Okay, now we're going to flip it over. Put a little pressure on this side, and there you go. There's the cut. Now we just need to take a skill knife and cut it all along that bend. There you go, not bad. And cut this at the fold. Cut the foil at the fold. That's scrap. Okay, let's see how we did. By the way, this is the 291 Sikaflex. This is fast cure marine adhesive sealant. The reason you want to choose marine, God forbid you get any water up underneath here, that's not going to corrode this adhesive seal of the 1x1 aluminum to the steel. So Sikaflex 291. All right. Okay. So it got a little bit of high side right here. I can see it from here to here where it's not allowing it to drop in. So take my marker, mark right where it is. It's from there to here. I'm going to trim that up a little bit. There's the second one in. Slow but steady progress. I can tell you, getting these measurements right, having this not glued down and it moves around a little bit, you got to take your time. And you know, the van is uneven in a number of places, particularly where there's silicone seal and where it sort of moves up and around the wheel wells. I'm sure it was George at Humble Road that said, let the van talk to you. Make sure you understand and have a feel for it as you're making cuts, and don't be rushed, I can tell you, because that ends up a disaster. So we got 2 in, not bad. Hey, check it out. 3 sections now in. Making progress. Bit of a late night deal. Went inside, had some dinner, spent a little time with my wife, watched some football, came back out, cut some more aluminum and some more of the insulation. And so getting her done. So I'm going to show you this section I put in here. Had to cut around the wheel well, and the way to do it is absolutely cardboard pattern. So got the cardboard in here, made a couple of measurements. From here to here was a couple inches. Then you measure to where the break starts to occur. That was about 3 inches. Then measure to where it's straight again. That was about 8.5. So from here to here, started making that round cut on the cardboard. When I got it the way I liked it, that was the template I used for both this side, and flipped it over and used it for that side. And then it popped in. This is going to be a multi-part video series on subfloor. I can see that now. It's taken more time than I expected, but I want to get it right. So I'm going to make sure I check all my cuts and measurements. So stay with me. Hope you enjoy it. If you like what you're seeing, please hit that subscribe button. Any comments, throw them in the comment section. Happy to respond. And thumbs up. Thanks. Be good. Bye-bye.